Some people are plant fanatics. I'm not really sure why because they really have no importance and they don't do anything. But some people, like my mom, they constantly have to have lots of plants. So usually I just shrug it off like many do. However, today we're going to discuss on why plants are important to us, the structure that makes them a living species, and finally the basis on which they have a consciousness. So eventually we can stop the mass amounts of them from being killed off due to their lack of so-called importance. So why are plants important? Each and every day we rely on plants. They create much more than just pretty flowers and colorful sights. Plants create two very important things to the human race. They provide food and oxygen. John Hewitson from the American Society of Plant Biologists in 2016 plant biology article says, quote, that we rely on plants to make proteins for us and we need proteins for our growth. The same goes for vitamins and partly fats and oils. He goes on to state that plants can take simple sugars and turn them into complicated chemicals. According to a Botanic Gardens Conservation International, there are approximately 7,000 different plant species that have been or are used for food. The most important things plants create, however, is oxygen. Without plants, we couldn't breathe. Therefore, we would die. For plants, they create oxygen as a byproduct to the process of photosynthesis. Seeming really simple, the process is actually very complicated, but it's extremely important to our daily lives, and we can't go without oxygen. Another frequently asked question is, are plants really a living species? Since they don't function as a living organism, as much as it is true they do not hold all of the characteristics, they are actually a living species. This is why a study done at the Deakin University in 2014 shows that plants respire, move, respond to stimuli, reproduce, and grow, and are adapted with the complex of living things within the environment. Going on to explain that when a plant is picked or cut, the basic life process will continue to occur. The plant will undergo some type of death process that shows it had once been living. Dennis O'Neill, author of The Linnean System, the Cephalothes in 2013, shows that another way we can perceive plants as living species is by the fact that they produce young or offspring. With this, we can disprove the beliefs that those stating that plants still don't move or react, that they are not living. Finally, we're going to discuss on how the basis on which plants have consciousness. You're right, it is rare that you will find an audience that thinks this to be true. Plants can't think, right? Actually, that's very wrong. In 2014, an article, News Research on Plant Intelligence May Forever Change How You Think by Michael Pollan, author of The Botany Desire, writes that plants in some way are intelligent, since they can sense, learn, and remember and even react to sensory data they gather in their everyday lives. Integrated, and they behave appropriately in a way of response. And they do this without brains. Which in a way is incredible when you think about it, because we automatically assume that you need your brain to think. But it's not that way for plants. Pollan says that they have all the same senses as humans, and then some. In addition to being taste, for example, they can sense gravity, the presence of water, or even feel the obstruction of the earth that is being taken away by the roots, becoming into contact with it. A policy that is going to lead to change the killing of plants and trees, and their specifically importance, and being aware that killing them only creates more issues. But why does this matter? Because plants are dying at an alarming rate, and we are constantly killing off trees and other forestation for infrastructural purposes. It may sound stupid to save all of the plants, but plants are pertinent to our lives for food, oxygen, and many more things, much as one wouldn't believe. And plants also do have a consciousness. This seems obscure, but the way we should be combating this is by discussing it and overall including the fact that they are a living species. They also have a consciousness, which makes their pertinence more important to our daily lives. Therefore, we should discuss this and stop killing plants. So yeah, I may not really like the presence of plants in my house or around me, but we do need them. So I guess I'm just gonna have to let those crazy people keep on being crazy plant lovers.